The basement of the Riverside Estate smelled like dust and forgotten celebrations. Cardboard boxes labeled Winter 2019, and old decorations, surrounded the folding chair someone had set up for me in the corner, next to the water heater and a stack of extra linens. Above me I could hear the party. Laughter. Music. The rhythmic thump of dancing feet. 160 people celebrating my sister Rachel's 10-year anniversary to David, while I sat in the basement like a family secret too embarrassing to acknowledge. My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend Jen. Please tell me you're not actually down there. I took a photo of my surroundings, the concrete floor, the flickering fluorescent light, the literal cobwebs in the corner, and sent it back. Her response was immediate. I'm calling the police. This is a hostage situation. Despite everything, I smiled. But the smile faded as footsteps creaked overhead, followed by the sharp tap-tap-tap of someone testing a microphone. Rachel's voice filtered through the floorboards, sugary and performative. Can everyone hear me? Oh my God, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I closed my eyes, recognizing that tone. She was about to perform. And when Rachel performed, someone always ended up as her prop. 10 years, she continued, her voice carrying that breathy excitement she'd perfected since high school. Can you believe David and I have been married for a whole decade? It feels like yesterday we were saying our vows, starting our perfect life together. I'd been at that wedding. Maid of honor, actually. I'd held her bouquet, bustled her dress, and listened to her complain about the flower arrangements for 6 straight months. I'd also paid for her bachelorette party when she'd forgotten her wallet and never been repaid. I look around this room, Rachel said, and I see so much love. So many successful couples, amazing families, people who've built beautiful lives. It makes me so grateful for everything David and I have created. My stomach tightened. I knew that transition. That shift from gratitude to comparison. And it makes me think about my sister Claire. Claire couldn't make it upstairs tonight, she's not feeling well. Rachel's voice dripped with false concern. The lie was delivered so smoothly. I was 50 feet away in the basement because she'd literally told me there was no room at the tables, and that I'd be more comfortable downstairs where it's quiet. But I want to talk about her for a minute because, you guys, it breaks my heart. My hands clenched around my phone. My sister lives this sad, pathetic life compared to the happiness David and I have built. She's 34, never been married, no kids, stuck in the same apartment she's had since college. She works these endless hours at some finance job that consumes her, and for what? She has nothing to show for it. No partner, no family of her own. Just emptiness. The words landed like physical blows. Around me, the basement seemed to shrink, the walls pressing closer. I try to include her, Rachel continued. I really do. But it's hard watching someone you love refuse to grow up, refuse to build a real life. Sometimes I think she's actually jealous of what David and I have. Like she can't handle seeing people actually happy and thriving. Upstairs, someone murmured something. Probably sympathetic. Poor Rachel with her sad, pathetic sister. So I just want to say publicly that I love Claire. Even though she can't be the person I wish she could be, even though her choices have led her to this lonely, empty existence, she's still my sister. And I'm praying that someday she'll find even a fraction of the joy I've found. The microphone clicked off. Applause followed. Light, uncomfortable but present. I sat in the basement, surrounded by storage boxes and discarded party supplies, and felt something inside me finally, irrevocably break. Not break like shatter. Break like a dam that had been holding back years of truth. My phone buzzed again. Jen, tell me you're leaving. But I wasn't leaving. Not yet. I stood, brushing dust from my simple navy dress. The one Rachel had said was too casual for the party, but probably the best you have. I picked up my phone and opened the folder I'd created 3 months ago. The folder labeled Insurance. Inside were 17 audio files. Conversations I'd recorded after discovering something that had shattered my own illusions about my sister's perfect life. It had been an accident, actually. I'd borrowed Rachel's laptop when mine died during a visit, and her Messages app had been open. iCloud Sync is a beautiful thing, especially when someone forgets they've enabled it. The messages between Rachel and someone named Connor went back 14 months. At first I'd thought it was spam, some bot she hadn't deleted. But then I'd read further. Seen the photos she'd sent. Read the plans they'd made for hotel rooms and business trips that David knew nothing about. I'd felt sick. Confronted her privately the next day. "You're going to tell David," I'd said, my voice shaking. "Or I will." Rachel had laughed. Actually laughed. "Tell him what? That his wife has a friend. That I have conversations David doesn't need to know about? Claire, you're so desperate to ruin my happiness that you're imagining things. I have screenshots." "Of what? Friendly messages?" "God, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're so miserable in your own life that you can't stand to see me happy. It's pathetic, Claire. Actually pathetic." She turned it around so smoothly, made me question my own eyes. For about a week I'd almost believed her. Then I'd started recording. Every phone call where she'd mention Connor. Every time she'd lie to David about where she was going. Every conversation where she'd mock her husband to her lover, call him boring, say she was just staying until the time was right. 17 conversations. All backed up to 3 separate cloud services. I'd planned to confront her again privately. To give her one more chance. But that was before tonight. Before she'd exiled me to a basement and told 160 people that my life was sad and pathetic. I opened my phone's Bluetooth settings. The Riverside Estate sound system appeared in the available devices. They'd used it for the ceremony earlier and someone had left it discoverable. One tap connected me. I scrolled to the first audio file. Rachel and Connor discussing their last hotel rendezvous in explicit detail. My finger hovered over the play button. Upstairs, music had resumed. Michael Bublé probably. Rachel loved him. I pressed play. For a moment nothing happened. Then the music cut out, replaced by Rachel's voice, but not the sugary performance voice from moments ago. This was her real voice, breathy and excited in a different way. "God, I can't wait until Thursday," recording Rachel purred through the speakers. "David thinks I'm at that conference in Portland. We'll have the whole night." The party went silent. I could picture it. 160 guests frozen, champagne flutes halfway to lips, trying to understand what they were hearing. Connor's voice joined in. "What about your sister? Doesn't she live in Portland?" "Claire." Rachel's recorded laugh was sharp and cruel. "Please. She's so desperate for my approval she'd probably help me cover it up. She's pathetic like that. No life of her own, so she lives through mine." I closed my eyes, letting it play. Letting everyone hear what she really thought of me. Of David. Of the life she'd called perfect. Footsteps thundered overhead. Someone was running. The recording continued, Rachel and Connor discussing David's boring predictability, their plans for the weekend, the jewelry Connor had bought her that she kept hidden in her gym bag. Then I heard it, a crash that made the ceiling shake. David's voice, roaring something I couldn't make out. Rachel screaming. The basement door slammed open. Rachel appeared at the top of the stairs, her face a mask of fury and terror, mascara already streaming. "Claire, what did you do?" I looked up at her calmly. "I played a recording. Isn't that what you do at anniversaries? Share memories." "You bitch." David appeared behind her, his face white, his hands shaking. 10 years, he said, his voice hollow. 10 fucking years. "Baby, it's not. Those are fake, she edited them, she's jealous." "I heard your voice." David's hand went to his ring finger, twisting the gold band. "I know your voice, Rachel. I know exactly how you sound when you're lying to me." The recording was still playing. Now it was Rachel telling Connor about David's promotion, how it meant more money for her, how she was planning to wait until he made partner before filing for divorce, so the settlement would be worth it. David pulled off his wedding ring. For a moment I thought he might throw it at Rachel's feet. Instead he hurled it directly at her face. It bounced off her forehead with a small, sharp sound. Rachel's hand flew to her head, then she crumpled. Just completely folded, dropping to her knees on the basement stairs, her champagne-colored Vera Wang gown pooling around her like a costume from a play that had just ended. "Please," she sobbed. "Please, David, I can explain." "Don't." His voice was ice. "Don't say another fucking word to me." He turned and disappeared. I heard more chaos upstairs. Voices, exclamations, the sound of people gathering belongings. The party was over. Rachel looked down at me, still on her knees, her perfect makeup destroyed, her perfect image shattered. "You've ruined everything," she whispered. "No," I said quietly. "I just stopped letting you ruin me." The next hour was a blur. David's parents arrived. They'd been at the party and had left the moment the recording started but came back to collect him. His mother had stopped at the basement door, looked down at me and said simply, "Thank you for telling the truth." Rachel's friends tried to console her, but one by one they drifted away. It's hard to comfort someone when you've just heard them mock everything and everyone in her life. My parents arrived around midnight. Mom cried. Dad looked older than I'd ever seen him. "Why didn't you tell us?" Mom asked. "Would you have believed me?" I countered. "Without proof? When has my word ever counted for as much as Rachel's performance?" They didn't have an answer to that. I left the Riverside Estate at 1 a.m. Walked to my car in the empty parking lot, my navy dress still dusty from the basement. My phone was exploding with messages. Some from guests at the party asking if I was okay. Some from people I hadn't spoken to in years, saying they'd always known something was off about Rachel. But the message I focused on was from David. "I'm filing on Monday. My lawyer will need those recordings. Thank you for not letting me waste another 10 years. I drove home to my apartment, the same one I'd had since college, the one Rachel had called sad and pathetic. I let myself in, locked the door and looked around. At the bookshelf full of novels I'd actually read. At the photos from trips I'd taken alone and loved. At the desk where I'd built a career that had made me senior VP by 34, a fact Rachel had never once acknowledged. At the life I'd built that was mine. Completely, wholly, imperfectly mine. My phone rang. "Jen, are you okay?" she asked immediately. "I am actually." The videos are everywhere. Someone recorded the whole thing on their phone. It's viral on TikTok. I should have felt horrified. Instead I felt light. "Good," I said. "Let everyone see who she really is. Claire, that was the most badass thing I've ever witnessed. You sat in a basement and destroyed her entire fake life in 3 minutes." "She destroyed it herself," I said. I just pressed play. What happened next shocked everyone, Rachel most of all. I didn't apologize. Didn't feel guilty. Didn't let anyone convince me I'd gone too far. Instead, I changed my number, blocked my sister on everything, and set a firm boundary with my parents. They could have a relationship with both of us, but I would no longer attend events where Rachel performed her perfect life at my expense. 3 months later, I got a promotion. 6 months after that, I met someone. Someone who thought my apartment was charming, my career impressive, and my independence attractive. Rachel sent one email months after the party. Subject line, "Please." I deleted it without reading it. Because I'd spent 34 years being the supporting character in her story, the sad sister who made her look better by comparison. That night in the basement, surrounded by storage boxes and forgotten things, I'd finally become the main character of my own life. And unlike Rachel's carefully curated performance, my story was real.